When was the last time you truly felt your birthday? Not just noticed it or replied politely, but felt it with the innocence you once had. Childhood made everything magical. Your heart jumped at balloons and cake, and for one small day, you felt wanted and seen. Adulthood softens that glow. The date slips by like any other. You wake, check a few notifications, maybe answer a call from your mother, and return to routine. You say it does not matter, yet a quiet question remains. For many, this is not simple maturity. It is the echo of birthdays forgotten, dismissed, or overshadowed by conflict. A child who was never held emotionally learns to dim excitement because safety once meant staying quiet. That quiet emotional shift continues here. People who treat their birthday like an ordinary day are not cold. They are often the ones who think deeply and watch themselves closely. They hide expectation because disappointment taught them to. It was never lack of wanting, but wanting too much and being hurt. A birthday becomes a mirror of how alive you feel, how you handle attention, and whether being seen feels safe. Saying they do not care sounds independent, but often means they stopped hoping. The line between maturity and emotional retreat is thin. If childhood answered hope with dismissal or neglect, the child learned that expectation brings pain. Adulthood hides that lesson behind the claim that birthdays do not matter. Birthdays become even clearer when you look at the two emotional directions they create. One direction belongs to those who have genuinely outgrown the childlike thrill, not from sadness, but from an inner calm. They find meaning in ordinary days, in quiet routines, in steady moments. So joy is no longer trapped inside a single square on a calendar. Their whole life becomes the celebration. The other direction is quietly complicated. The date brings a gentle anxiety shaped by memory. It recalls being forgotten, expectations breaking, years of waiting and hurting. Saying it is only a normal day becomes a shield. Children raised in unstable homes rarely had safe birthdays, and their mind learned that even joyful moments could explode. As adults, they keep the day small to stay safe. The same instinct that keeps a birthday small also reshapes the deeper mind. After enough disappointment, the brain quietly lowers its expectations and teaches you not to hope too much. It is emotional self-protection, a way to soften the impact of hurt by choosing stability over excitement when excitement once led to pain. But the cost appears over time. Joy becomes muted, the heart grows careful, and you move through life like a guest at your own celebration. Children from unsafe homes learn this early. Noise, conflict, or criticism made birthdays feel dangerous, so their nervous system survived by reducing its sensitivity to joy and expectation. When the heart becomes cautious, another pattern appears. People say they do not celebrate and that it makes no difference who remembers. Yet at the end of the day, they still take quiet note of who showed up and who did not. That is not weakness, but the human need to be seen. Pretending not to care is still caring, just hidden. And for many, that hiding began in childhood. A child labeled sensitive or dramatic for wanting attention learned that desire led to shame. So they created the opposite role, acting like they needed nothing and felt safer staying small. It was never apathy, but self-protection against being hurt again. That hidden fear of needing others often grows into what many describe as avoidant validation behavior. You repeat the sentence that you do not need anyone to remember, but beneath that calm logic lives a quieter terror. What if you care, and no one shows up for you. This pattern forms in people who were taught that their emotional needs were inconvenient, that life ran smoother if they demanded nothing. In childhood, asking for comfort often led to criticism, punishment, or cold silence. Wanting affection was treated as weakness. The inner child drew a hard conclusion that safety meant self-sufficiency. As an adult, this becomes the instinct to avoid any moment where recognition matters, including birthdays. The instinct to avoid recognition also changes how you see people who treat their birthday like any other day. They are not cold. Many have simply made peace with disappointment and replaced excitement with control. But control has a quiet price. Under the calm claim that it is only a day lies the simple truth that everyone wants to be seen. What they want is not noise, but the reassurance that their existence is noticed. Birthdays mark being alive, not achievement, bringing gratitude for some and loneliness for others. For those shaped by childhood trauma, this mix runs deeper. A child who never felt safely centered grows into an adult who finds visibility both hopeful and frightening, because their body no longer trusts that being the focus is safe. That tension around being the focus also shape how birthdays stir deeper reflections. The date quietly reminds you of how far you have come and how far you have not. For some, this feels like progress. For others, it brings pressure, regret, or the weight of unfinished things. Making the day ordinary becomes a way to soften the heaviness of time. If the day is not important, it cannot press too hard. This pattern is common in those shaped by childhood trauma. Children raised in tents, heavy environments grow sensitive to milestones and learn as adults to downplay dates like birthdays to avoid old feelings of overwhelm. Sensitivity to milestones shifts as we grow. In childhood, a birthday feels like a moment of belonging. In adulthood, the spotlight can feel strange or even uncomfortable. Many people carry the inner conflict of wanting to be noticed while fearing they will look like they need attention. This becomes stronger for those who have long played the role of the strong one, the giver, the responsible figure. They learned early that their joy comes second. Childhood trauma often sets this pattern. One child becomes the peacekeeper, managing the emotional climate and pushing their own needs aside, even on their birthday. As adults, they remember everyone else's milestones while letting their own fade into something they claim they do not need. That lifelong habit of shrinking their own birthday often appears in another form. When someone plans a big celebration for them, they feel exposed, uneasy, and sometimes want to slip away. It looks like humility, but inside it is emotional fatigue. They still want to be seen, yet they fear embarrassment, fear disappointment, and fear not knowing how to receive attention. What they truly want is not a crowd, but one person who understands who they are and what the year has taken from them. Childhood trauma shapes this deeply. When every childhood spotlight came with judgment or shame, even a birthday candle can feel like danger. They avoid celebration not because they do not care, but because their body learned to link being noticed with being hurt. That uneasy relationship with celebration also shapes how emotional maturity feels in adulthood. You learn to rely on yourself, to create meaning, to soothe your own heart. Yet, the paradox is simple. The more self-sufficient you become, the harder it is to receive care without questioning it. A birthday, which could be a soft place, turns into a neutral day you quietly let pass. Outside, you say you are fine. Inside, nostalgia, sadness, gratitude, and a wish for simple joy move all at once. Childhood trauma deepens this pattern. A child who never had a safe space to express emotion learned to handle everything alone. And that same child grows into an adult who feels cautious when someone tries to do something kind for them on their birthday. That cautiousness around kindness also shapes how temporal self-awareness appears on a birthday. The day becomes a moment to look at who you were a year ago and compare it with who you hope to become. When the distance feels wide, the discomfort grows. The birthday feels more like an unforgiving mirror than a celebration. Many people lower the importance of the day, not because there is nothing to honor, but because they are not ready to face that internal comparison. Childhood trauma can intensify this reaction. A childhood filled with shame or feelings of not being enough makes any milestone feel like a test of worth. A birthday can quietly reactivate those old self-critical patterns. That quiet tension around milestones also makes it important to offer reassurance. If birthdays feel strange to you, if your reactions do not match what you think they should be, that is completely human. It does not mean you are ungrateful or cold. It simply means you are aware of time moving and aware that recognition no longer carries the innocence it once did. Celebration has changed its meaning. As a child, a birthday was the world acknowledging you. As an adult, it becomes the moment you acknowledge yourself. That shift in how you acknowledge yourself naturally changes what a birthday means. It becomes less about gifts and more about presence, less about who shows up and more about whether you have truly shown up in your own life during the past year. Instead of chasing the world's celebration, many people begin wanting peace with their own path. Yet a small voice still whispers a hope that someone will remember. You can feel calm and still crave connection. Childhood trauma often deepens this mix. Growing up with inconsistent love taught many people to rely on self-recognition. Yet a quiet child inside still longs for one reliable adult to notice them without being asked. That longing for a quieter, more honest connection with yourself also explains why many people choose to spend their birthday alone. They take a walk, cook a favorite meal, or give themselves a day to think. It is not coldness. It is the act of redefining celebration, shifting it from noise to stillness, from outer approval to inner acknowledgement. This is the heart of self-concordant motivation. When your values and your actions align, you feel whole without applause or attention. A quiet birthday is not apathy. It is alignment with who you really are. That quiet alignment with yourself also reveals another deeply human tension. Many people secretly hope others will remember on their own, without being told, because asking feels like breaking the spell. They want to be seen, yet they want to appear as if they need nothing. It is the old conflict between independence and intimacy living in the same heart. Childhood trauma often shapes this struggle. If every childhood attempt to ask for attention was met with rejection, scolding, or silence, adulthood makes any request for celebration feel unsafe. Even when they long for it, they still say it is fine and pretend it does not matter. That fear of asking also connects to a pattern often seen in earned secure attachment. These are people who faced emotional disappointment as children, but worked hard in adulthood to heal and build a new sense of safety. They are independent, yet they still carry a small, quiet hope that someone will see through the armor. A birthday becomes a gentle test they never speak aloud. Their mind notices who remembers without prompting, who reaches out on their own, who still holds them as significant. This is not weakness. It is the attachment part of them still alive, still reaching, even after being hurt. That quiet search for meaning also shapes how a birthday is interpreted. When the year has been kind, the day feels like a milestone. When the year has been heavy, it turns into a difficult conversation with yourself. Many people soften the day by letting it blend into the week, not to avoid it, but to protect themselves until they are ready to reflect. Still, the date stirs memories, gratitude, regret, and nostalgia, as if the mind is quietly taking inventory. Without its rituals, a birthday becomes a small checkpoint asking whether you are living honestly, whether you still recognize yourself, and whether you like the story you are shaping with your life. That quiet self-inventory also explains why treating your birthday like an ordinary day can carry its own meaning. It may simply show that you no longer need a marked date to signal growth. You are facing the important questions privately. Not every form of becoming needs to be posted, shared, or applauded. Some of the deepest maturity appears in how you respond differently than before, how you forgive faster, complain less, and notice beauty that once escaped you. That too is a kind of celebration, needing no fireworks, only the recognition that you are no longer the same. That subtle, quiet kind of celebration also reveals something about the people who treat their birthday like any ordinary day. They are often the ones who hold space for everyone else, the ones who remember every milestone, send every message, and reach out first. In doing so, they forget something simple and human. They also deserve to feel special, not for achievement, but for existing. Childhood trauma often shapes this pattern. Many were the prematurely responsible child, the young caretaker in the family. As adults, they forget they have the right to receive, not only to give. And that quiet truth about deserving to receive leads to something even more fundamental. No one truly wants to be invisible. What differs is the way each person wants to be loved and celebrated. Some want fireworks, surprise gatherings, and a room full of voices. Others long for steadiness, softness, and one person who understands their inner world. There is no correct way to experience your own existence. There is only the way that feels honest to you. And that freedom to celebrate in your own way also explains why your birthday may look like any other day. You work, make coffee, check messages, and feel nothing unusual. It can mean your life has enough meaning to stand without a marked date. Yet, if a small ache appears, a hint of nostalgia for the excitement you once felt, that is natural. It is the memory of who you were before you learned to guard your heart. The quiet gift is acknowledging the child who once counted down to midnight and telling them that you see them. An ordinary birthday is not emptiness. It is evolution. And if someone remembers you, let it remind you that your presence still matters.